Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Chasing Rank. Hopefully, you are doing well. It is game week 6. We are absolutely flying in the season. And as you can tell on the screen, I'm joined by Damo and Dom. Fellas, how are we going?
Not bad, Paulie. And yourself, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. It was a very nice game week for me. I am very keen to get into things this week because I think there's quite a lot to talk about. And I think you two have a lot to get on top of before we get to my team. So before we do that, there are a few people lurking in the chat. So first of all, if you are here nice and early, let's get in the chat, get that chat rate going, but also make sure you do subscribe if you haven't as well. We are currently sitting on 118 subscribers. So if we could get that up to 125 tonight, that'd be fantastic. But let's try and get it to 120. First of all, I'm very, very excited to get us away. Now, fallers and ballers. We do have an interesting comment here, so we will get back to that one a little bit later. We will go through our sides, and then we'll go through how everything else went. Worst performing manager this week was Damo. Dom's got his hand up, and he actually probably hasn't even looked to see what is going on.
The last game week, I just didn't open the app since. So
Damo, your side is on the screen now. Talk us through 42 points.
Zoom it in a little bit more, Paul, because I want to shine all these guys. Absolute freaking nupties. I want to go and
on screen.
It is what it is. I put it in our chat that I said this week. I know I'm going to cop a red anyway. Didn't think it was going to be that much of a red. I finished the week at 946K, and at the end of Saturday, I was inside the top 300K. But that was because of the fact that most of my players have played where other people have Haaland and other people have Arsenal assets and all sorts of stuff. In terms of fallers and ballers, I'm going to talk about ballers really quickly. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes, fantastic guy. I've been saying it from day dot. Just have him, let him sit there. He'll cook. I'm going to say, even though this sounds weird because he only got 3 points, Tarkowski again, DC, just put him in, let him play. If his floor is 3 points, that's exactly what you want. Because when he does keep a clean sheet, he's going to get 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points. So another one as well. And Mateta for finally getting in the back of the net and putting himself on the score sheet. Probably could have had a couple more. It was pretty fantastic. I would love to shout out Reinders, but I did make the decision to play Elliot Anderson over him because of DC. And Anderson did hit his DC, so made a nice call in terms of looking at DC. Just Reinders decided to be clinical this week and decided to be really aggressive. And this is the reason why you have him. I will say, without me telling a word of a lie, I did mention it on last stream. I thought about a bench boost. And if I did, we would have had a much better week because our bench would have done very well. Fallers. Oh, boys, where do we want to start? Look, I'll start with the elephant in the room. Sanchez. Great challenge, mate. I would be proud. Obviously, there's gist in that. Woeful positioning, woeful starting position, half committed sort of. As an ex-goalkeeper coach, I pulled my hair out. I purposely stayed up to 2 a.m. to watch this game and then turned it off straight after. With that as well, it was woeful. The other faller is Pedro Porro. Attacking fullbacks are dead. If you have not realised in FPL, I'm going to put that statement out there. It's all about centre backs with DC for good teams that will keep the odd clean sheet. If you have an attacking fullback, Pedro Porro is name one, dead. Just an absolute.
Well, he's lost his set pieces as well, so that's
it's not great. And this is why I was always got a free hit in 6, wildcard 7. After I called it in 5, I said I'm going to drop some rank because the game has changed. And look, we have to speak about it. Ollie Watkins. Any danger of hitting a barn door? Missed a big chance as well. We couldn't ever have predicted Villa to be this bad. I'm going to make a very bold prediction, and Villa aren't going to finish above the top 10 because they don't look like scoring. So there you go. For a side that I would have predicted at the start of the season, probably battling to get into Europe and probably top 4. But can't score, can't do much. I'm livid. We have hit one of our cards or our chips, I should say. Which we'll get to. And the team needs a little bit of surgery. And I've gone from 400, 500K to 900K. So I'm not particularly happy.
Yeah. All right. Dom, not far in front of Damo here with 45 points, a few less flags and whatnot on your team this week. So talk us through your fallers and ballers for game week 5.
I'll run through it quickly because I never want to see some of these guys ever again. Fallers. Ollie Watkins, captain. Enough said. Everything. Pedro Porro, same. So disappointing. So disappointing. I lost his tick, gone. Just not even getting into it. And I'm going to go Gakpo. And we mentioned in the chat, the three of us looked just terrible. I don't know what happened, but just
there was one play where he plays it across to Salah, and if Salah's in any good form, he probably gets away and gets a shot off, but he's panicking a little bit. And other than that, did nothing.
Yeah, and then Palmer, like, obviously wasn't ready, played him 1 pointer, injured. Anyway, bowlers, Nico Williams finally gets that attacking return, and it was absolute. I don't know if you saw it, absolute screamer.
Yeah,
it was a thunderbolt. So I think he's going to do really well under Ange because he's not playing on the left now; he's playing on the right. I think he'll excel, and he's just a great player. Haaland, obviously, just he finds the back of the net. Just so happy I went with him. Probably the only good thing I've done all year. And once again, our boy Anderson hits those DC again, and just so happy with him.
Chips away.
Chips away, gets it every time, and they look defensively sound. I think they haven't conceded more than a goal a game, so he's going to get his clean sheets here and there. But happy I benched Sanchez last minute for Dubravka. I don't know why I did. I just thought, stuff it, let's go for it.
Because you listened to me.
And the red card, I have actually seen Damien do that in real life. So, for those of you who don't know.
I got yellow carded. I know which incident you're referring to, and somehow the ref only gave me yellow. So there you go.
Damo play the season together of football. And I've seen it live. So that was a good season for both of us. I think I actually won the top golden boot for the league that year. So get me in your FPL teams. That's
better than Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, much better than Ollie Watkins. But never want to see most of these blokes again, which we'll get into.
Beautiful. All right, we'll get on to my team and then we'll wrap it up. 71 on the week for me. Game week rank of 49,531. Massive 1 million green arrow into 239,000. And you might say, oh, he's done it with a bench boost. All I really got off my bench boost was Dan Burn. And I went to bed on Sunday thinking, shit, if I need something tonight, it's a 0-0 and Semenyo DC. And that's exactly what I got. I got 9 from Senesi, I got 9 from Dan Burn, and I got a clean sheet and DC from Semenyo. That single-handedly saved.
Terrible game.
Yeah.
Woeful.
Yeah.
Perfect for you.
Everything absolutely went my way in that one. Haaland captain as well, so I was the only one out of the three of us to captain Haaland. So they're probably the two decisions that were made that swung the game week for me. Munoz is frustrating because I went off of Richards to Munoz, and Richards goes and gets 17 DEFCON in a 2-1 win and gets 4 points. And if I just had that extra bit of money, my team would be in a different spot. Again, I was 100% on the Dubravka over Sanchez move early on Saturday. So he gets my baller, and I didn't decide to pull the bench boost until really late Saturday night when I was messaging Damo saying, I think I'm just going to do it because I saw the bench of Grealish, Burn, and Elliott. I was convinced Harvey Elliott would start, and he only played about half an hour. I don't know how Buendia keeps playing in his side, and Harvey Elliott's just a much better footballer. And I really did like all 5 of my defensive fixtures at the back. So I just thought if Elliott starts against Sunderland, fantastic. Sanchez against Man United, even if you just give me those -3 points back to 0, this bench boost all of a sudden ends up being 11 points, and I'm very, very happy with it. It ends up being 8 points, and I take it and run, and it is what it is. So really, from a ballers perspective, I'm going to Bruvka, Senesi, and Dan Burn as my three, both getting DC and a clean sheet in the same game. My pure faller is Ollie Watkins, and my team's now in a spot where I can do two things to fix up my team, which I'll talk about later on. So I will get everybody's opinions in that, and we'll go on from there. So it is a chip strategy live stream. So if you are here and you're not sure how you want to use your chips, this is the period to hang around for. So far, we've already had 7 likes on the stream, which is massive. Can we try and push that up to 10? So if you are just joining us, make sure you hit live on the like on the stream. And Damo, I am going to handle over to you in a second, but we are still on 118 subscribers. So if you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. And Damo, are you going to fire us away with a free hit draft to start off with tonight?
I can definitely do that. Let me load it in for you as well. I've been tinkering for the last couple hours and made a couple of changes to this plus some other stuff. But this is my current free hit 6 draft. I will let you all know that the team is the same on the fantasy app, and the team is the chip has been played. But I've shared it in there, Paul. If you would like to bring it in to the studio.
I just wanted to quickly see this comment here from our good friend here, who says something interesting for you. I bench boosted, had Sanchez and Ronaldo, and still ended up on 66.
That's a good game.
Pretty good week.
Would love to
considering I got 71 with only 1, so it would have been pretty similar to my side, I reckon. But very interesting bench boost. So here we go, Damo. Let's load up the free hit. Talk us through it.
Well done. Who knows? That is a pretty good game week with a couple of reds on a bench boost. So this is my current draft. I will say team rating of 100. That's because I also have my game week 7 draft loaded into Fantasy Football Hub as well. So takes that into consideration. So it's not 100% team. We'll put it out there. I've actually had some trouble putting this together because trying to use all the budget's a little bit interesting, especially if you go to like Rinders. You're going to have like 3 mil in the bank, 2 mil in the bank, and I'm not a fan of that on a free hit. I feel like you have to use all of it. But we'll go through each individual position, and I'll also put some alternatives that I've been tinkering with, and then let me know what you would change, boys, and in the chat, of course, as well. Donnarumma in goal because it's Burnley at home. I think that's self-explanatory. The only other keeper I've really looked at is Vicario against Wolves. I could also go Pickford and double up against West Ham as well. Your back three that I have selected is Guardiola because I think he's going to start against Burnley. Romero because he's better for DC than Van de Ven and against Wolves. And Tarkowski is not leaving my side for the whole 38 game weeks, so he's locked in on others. So,
love it. Love it.
Midfield 4 with a front 3. I was toying with playing 5 midfielders and a front 2, but my midfield 4 is Semenyo because you cannot fight his ownership and it's Leeds away. It's a pretty good fixture. Bruno's looking fantastic and Brentford haven't looked great, so we're obviously going to go with Bruno, and he could still get DC in this game too. Need an Everton mid against West Ham. I've gone with Grealish now, but I really think NDA is the better pick. Penalties and a bit more goal for it. The reason I've gone Grealish is because I expect West Ham to sit. Grealish will probably get a lot of opportunities to create, and I think is where NDI might get only one a return. I think Grealish has the opportunity for 2 or 3. So for a 1 game week punt, I prefer Grealish. Long term, I think NDA is the better pick, but Grealish. And then I've gone a little bit spicy. I've got a couple of Forest guys in against Sunderland. And that's mainly because Ange Ball looked really good. And it was only their 2nd game in the Prem. So under Ange. So I expect some positive stuff to come from the attacking sense. So I've gone Gibbs White as a little bit of a differential over in at Sunderland. And then the front 3, I've got Haaland, I've got Wood. And
Damo's got Wood.
I'm one that likes punishment. I think it's a poor fixture for Gyökeres because Arsenal is a good side, but Newcastle are defending really well. So I have gone and done the unthinkable. I actually think I'll have Ollie Watkins on my
Take him out right now. Take him out right now.
I just think Fulham's attacking data is fine. Just it has to turn 7 weeks without a return. 6 weeks without a return.
We're going to be at game week.
Fulham's defensive data is actually good too, though.
I hate it. I hate it. But give me another striker that goes in there. I can't get the Yorkers if I go with that team unless I downgrade Grealish. And I don't think against Newcastle, as we saw against as we saw against City, that he scores. He might, right? But it's not the fixture to have an Arsenal forward. So
No,
who's the other forward that
Do you go João Pedro against Brighton, who are leaking goals?
You could, and then what do you do with the extra 1 point something million?
back yourself in for the Spurs attacker. They're playing Wolves.
Yeah, but who's going to start? I don't think Richarlison starts, and if he does, Colomwani will come off.
Or it'd be a midfielder.
Yeah, but who?
Kudus.
Yet again, I'm downgrading Watkins to a 4.5 to then get Kudus in. I've got all this money to spend on the draft as well. Just feels a little bit whatever.
Watkins to Richarlison.
I don't think Richarlison is nailed.
No, I wouldn't go Richarlison.
He scored.
Not in a free hit. I wouldn't go Richarlison. You want 90-minute men on a free
obviously,
hit.
Palmer would have been great, but he's injured. And that would have been Watkins down to a 4.5.
Well, yeah, I think it's Pedro, personally.
So I've gone Watkins thinking that if there's ever a week that he's going to do it, it'll be this week or next week. And even though I'm selling him in game week 7, spoiler alert, I've gone to gluttony for punishment outside of Watkins because I knew that would create some conversation, and the chat's already given me some pointers on that as well. What else would you change about that draft from Wood, Haaland, and upwards to the defense?
If you go Pickford in goal and Gibbs White, so João Pedro in for Watkins and Foden in for Gibbs White, and double up Man City attack.
Would you think Foden starting?
Yeah, 100% he's starting. Cherky's nowhere near.
Cherky's done.
Or Doku, because Marmoush isn't back yet either. I think you go double City attack with double Everton defense. Personally,
Grinders?
Nah.
No.
Foden or Doku. Oh, Foden or Doku. I know Foden come off early, but Doku's playing well.
Do they play Carabao Cup tomorrow?
I'll look as you keep talking.
Yeah, I think they do. I think the other thing I tinkered with, and this is a fun tinker, and you can tell
they play Thursday.
This is the other tinker I had, right? It was the good old Watkins, right, with some tinkering, and it was Mbeumo. It was Bruno down to Mbeumo, frees up about $1 million, exactly in my team. It was then Donnarumma down to Vicario, which frees up $1.5 million, right? It was then Watkins to Isak for a 1-week punt because I think he starts against Palace, right? And I think that's just enough money to afford Gibbs White. And if it's not, I can downgrade him to Reinders.
No, I wouldn't go near Isak yet.
I only think as a 1-week punt because I think he starts, but I would much rather have guys that are all going to play 90 or /start on your free hit. Hence why, yet again, I've gone with Ollie Watkins. I hate every being saying
I don't mind a 3-5-2, personally. Go Giu and then go with Foden, or double up with Bruno and Mbeumo.
Could do.
And just lock in whoever's going to score. That's just my personal preference. I just, as a Watkins owner, I just can't like it.
I know, I hate it, but that's what the algorithm likes. But
I love 90% of it. 90% of it, elite. I just think on a free, you're using a chip. Like you're backing in a guy who hasn't scored for 5 weeks, hasn't even come close. Like the rest of it, incredible. Need some tinkering on that last striker spot.
What I will also say, if we're looking at eye test, I think Mbeumo is the biggest miss out of this. He looks pretty damn good for.
And are you all right if I bring something up whilst you guys talk? I did just release a video about an hour and a half ago about my game week review. Now, if I bring up Man United's average positioning from the game against Chelsea, now I mentioned in the video that obviously for practically the whole game, Chelsea were playing with 10 men, as were United for large parts of the second half. What stands out? What stands out on that?
The eye test will tell you that every day too.
Yeah, he is just so involved. Most progressive passing received is Brian Mbeumo, which means all the balls that are going forward are going through Mbeumo. Now, that's off 1 week, right? So that's this week. The other option I can show you is if I get rid of that one, let me find game week 3 because I've got that here as well. Because I didn't do a video for last week because I was very busy with Father's Day and whatnot. So let's go. This is game week 3. So I can't even remember who they played, right? This is against Burnley. All right. This is against Burnley. And same thing. Cunha gets injured 30 minutes into that game. And Brian Mbeumo goes and plays up front where Cunha had started as the 9, got injured. And then the only issue I've got with between the posts is it doesn't have the adjusted average positionings once subs have been made. So it just shows you the starting 11 players because typically they're playing for at least 70 minutes or 55, 60, 70 minutes, right? Brian Mbeumo, the last few weeks, most XG chain involved in the most XG and also most progressive passes received. I think at 8 million, he's a standout. Him and Semenyo in that kind of 7.5, 8 million bracket. I know he doesn't have penalties, and that's the reason why probably we didn't go near him from the start. But from a raw eye test, he looks fantastic. As we've got a comment come straight through at the same time. Looks so good in the eye test, but we're really going to double up on United or pick him over Fernandes. Similar to what Damo said, if it's rest of season, I'm going Bruno. If it's a short period of time, I'm going Mbeumo. And I know Bruno's the one that scored, this week. But at some point, it's going to click for Mbeumo.
Yeah,
I agree. And I think if there's ever a fixture, it's Brentford because I think they're in a little bit of trouble too. And I think it's a pretty good fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just my thoughts around the United boys. Oh, look, there's a world where I was actually thinking for next week to go Bruno down to Mbeumo. That's because I needed to free up $1 million. And I think I found some more impactful ways for me to free up that 1 million, which I'll talk to a little bit later. Now, Dom, I don't know if you've pulled the trigger yet on your side, have you? All right.
Nah.
Damo, do you want to go through have you got a wild card prepared for this week as well?
I've got a wild card prepared for next week.
Oh, for next week. All right. So this is Damo's chip strategy, which is game week 6 free hit into game week 7 wild card. So I think a lot of people will be looking to use this chip if you don't have Haaland already. I would definitely not be burning transfers in order to make this happen. Once we've gone through Damo's game week 7 wildcard, we'll go back to my team because my chip strategy is a little bit different, and then we'll get into moves for this week. So, Damo, talk us through your game week 7 wildcard.
Perfect. So it's a game week 7 wildcard. The plan was always to eke the wildcard out as long as possible, but the structure and the meta of the season has changed. I was originally going to free hit 6 and then have Salah back game week 13, get on Haaland and Salah, and then ship Salah off. No longer advisable because Salah just looks pretty horrendous, staying pretty high and wide. And we will need Haaland in the teams long term. So with that said, I've got some picks here that I can't have on a free hit 6, or else I would have just wildcarded in 6. And these are Raya, Gabriel, Senesi, Yorkeres. I think there's a better fixture that week. So I think if we're going to avoid Arsenal assets because they got Newcastle, who will likely score and be pretty good defensively. I think it's going to finish 1-1, 2-1 either way. You don't want him in for game week 6. So the plan is to make the best possible free hit 6 team to maximize points, then get the best possible week 7 team in, which has minimal transfers for maximum amount of rolling until game week 11, 12, where you want to get Haaland and Salah before Salah goes away to African Cup of Nations, and then Liverpool have that really good fixture run. So with that said, this is my wildcard 7. And it's got some good elements, but what it has is playable players in each position with some Liverpool cover, and it allows me to bench boost in 9. This is set up with a bench boost in 9. For those that are maybe listening, it's Raya in goal because I think you definitely need to have free Arsenal assets, and he's a good way into Arsenal. In saying that, Saka could be viable, but if you look through those statistics and the points, the highest scoring players are defenders this year, with then the occasional forward. So with that, you don't want to really go and get these premium attackers, really, right? So Raya in goal, Gabriel is a must, I feel. Tarkowski's never leaving my side. Senesi's hit DC every game and can play in any fixture, so he's there. And my other two defenders are Virgil van Dijk, who's sitting on the bench for the game week 7 because I just can't fit him in. But that's just I have a Liverpool asset for the long term, knowing that I want 3 Liverpool assets from game week 13. And the other one is Joe Roden, because I've been impressed with Leeds. They've looked decent and they've got some good fixtures coming up. So for a bench boost in the future, having a 4.0 asset that is good for DC, it's better than Goodmanson for DC, just makes a lot of sense. So a 5th playable option with DC ability and good fixtures is not too bad. The midfield 5 is Stack at 5 mil. I think he's looked great, plus a great free kick on the weekend.
I've been talking about him for ages.
I was going to say, we did a live stream, just me and you, Paul. It was 2 or 3, and we mentioned him, and we said he's looking all right. And I know that your mum's partner is a big Leeds fan, and he mentioned him to you earlier in the season as well. I just think he's great value at 5 as well, and has a really good fixture run. You know, Burnley and West Ham in his next 3 after we get through game week 6. And not too bad. Semenyo never leaves. Reinders, obviously, I got value tied up. He's playing 90 minutes, no brainer. Bruno's just good for DC, very nailed. And he gives you some sort of route to Palmer if you need to, by making others transfers. And then the meta front three is obviously Pedro, Haaland, and Yorkeres. Drewsbury Hall on the bench there too. The reason why I have set the team up is if you put that on the screen, Paul, that is what it looks like in game week 9 for the bench boost.
There you go.
As you can see on the bench, that's the same team rolling, no problems. I get Dubravka against Wolves away, which is a good fixture. I get Drewsbury Hall against Spurs, unless he gets this yellow card the week before, which would be annoying, and then he gets suspended, but so be it, right?
You wear it.
You just wear it, or we go to another 5 mil for 1 week or something like that. That's fine. You get Stack at home against West Ham, which I think that's a great week for DC because West Ham are going to try and score, right? And he's going to have a creative attacking threat against West Ham. And then, yet again, West Ham's biggest way they're attacking at the moment is whipping balls into the box. So who's none better than a man that's playing centre-back for Leeds, heading balls away for DC, and that's Roden. So I really like that bench boost where I've got some cheap assets, 2 home fixtures against West Ham, a away fixture against Wolves, and Drewsbury Hall against Spurs is perfectly fine. And if you look at that starting 11, it's pretty good too.
Perfect. Absolutely love it. So very, very good, interesting conversation there around what a free hit 6 into a wildcard 7 could potentially look like, I should say. So definitely something to consider. Now, there are lots and lots of us sitting in the chat. So if you haven't already, Dom's already got it in the chat. Make sure you are hitting the like button as well. Make sure you are subscribing too. We are very, very close to hitting that 120 subscriber mark. So please help us get there for this week. We've got a good question here before we move on to my chip strategy, which is a little bit different. So why have forwards at all aside from Haaland? So many good picks elsewhere, not convinced by Gyökeres and the likes of Senesi, Anderson, and cheap mids will likely rival JP for points. Look, at the end of the day, we do need to field 3 forwards in our squads. I still think goals are the bread and butter of fantasy anyway, but I definitely think the cheaper forwards are more than rivaling the premium forwards. So I just want to quickly bring up my current side because I was game week 4 wildcard. And let me just share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is my current side. So I went early on bringing Haaland in for a reason, because I knew that lots of people will go for the free hit this week. I knew that was something that was going to be coming. So I thought, what's one way that I can differentiate my side away from everybody else? So I currently have 2 transfers in the bank. I'm just going to come over to Hub so you can see what I'm doing. So let's set this up. So game week 6, let's go to there so you can at least see what I'm talking about. So I've got 2 transfers up my sleeve.
Yep.
And I'm looking at getting rid of Ollie Watkins. I've been very firm on keeping him. But my question is, I've got 2 things I can do. I can go Munoz to Richards and Sanchez to Raya, or I can go Watkins to João Pedro and Sanchez to Raya. That's all well and good because next week the plan is go and get Gabriel for Munoz for perfect money, and we're happy as Larry. So that's my current thinking, as long as nothing goes wrong, and I have to make these moves tonight because Gabriel is going up tomorrow. But that is not the purpose of why I've brought my team up. The purpose of why I brought my team up is because I wildcarded early, instead of loading up on Man City assets for this week, even though their fixture run is solid. So if we look at their fixtures, they go Burnley, Brentford, Everton, Villa, Bournemouth, Liverpool, Newcastle. I'm playing the triple captain this week on Haaland instead of free hitting. So when everybody is getting on Haaland, if I was just to captain him alone, I'm going to lose the advantage of owning Haaland in such a good game week. Whereas everybody that's bringing him in, I'm not free hitting. I'm triple captaining to, because I do think Haaland is clearly the best captain this week. Burnley at home, when else are you going to get a better time, hopefully to get big attacking returns. So then next week I would have had my bench boost, free hit, and wildcard all played, and then my team continues to roll on. You can see it's sitting at a 97%. I'll have 0 transfers in the bank. I'll have 1 next week, which I'll use on Gabriel. And then, as Damo mentioned, my roll game starts from game week 8. Now, disregard the minus 0.1 because that's weird because I haven't made any moves. But that's probably my worst game week 8, because Harvey Elliott's sitting on my bench. By then I think he'll be starting. If not, I can just go to Stack or Dewsbury Hall or someone else. So it's not the end of the world. But then Grealish doesn't play against Man City. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the rest of my side. So that's where my chip strategy is at. Because I've played a few of my chips already, I'm just maximizing the Burnley at home fixture. And you can even see the team rating sitting there at a 97. So not the end of the world for me long term. My wild card has set me up in a good position to be able to differentiate a little bit. So that is something that I would be leaning towards. Now, let's get our big question here. Could you rate this game week 7? Now, this is a game week 7 free hit draft, I believe. That's what the next comment said. So it's Donnarumma, Gabriel, Van de Ven, and Mings. So I don't have the fixtures in front of me. So someone's going to have to probably try and get the fixtures up because I don't know who everyone's playing in game week 7. Then it's Bruno, Saka, Reinders, Kudus with Watkins, Haaland, Gyökeres. So Watkins plays Burnley, Gyökeres plays West Ham, and Haaland plays Brentford.
Who do you need?
Bruno plays Sunderland. Reinders plays Brentford. Who do Spurs play in 7?
Leeds.
It's not bad.
Ooh.
And Arsenal have West Ham. So then Spurs have, you said Leeds. Aston Villa have Burnley. And Arsenal have West Ham. And Donnarumma has Brentford. How many Arsenals in that team? Saka, Gabriel, and Gyökeres, which is why there's no Raya. Look, I'm not against that as a game week 7 free hit. Is your plan this week to then triple captain Haaland if you've got him? Is probably my question there. If you don't have Haaland at all, then fair enough. If you're on Salah, then you just got to ride that and go from there. I like that. Damo, thoughts?
I think that's a pretty nice free hit 7. I feel with the free hit, it's a very powerful chip. There's many ways you can play it. You can play it in a week where you want to target a particular player, like a lot of people are this week with Haaland, or play in a week where you feel that there's a lot of fixtures and upside and you want to keep your team moving forward. So you might really like your team, who knows, in 6. Think it lacks some players in 7, but then looks really good in 8 and 9 and 10. So if that's the case, that is a very, very, very good looking free hit draft for game week 7. I quite like it. Good fixtures.
Perfect. So if you do have any questions or team reviews you want us to do as well, guys, get them in the chat because we've probably got 1 or 2 more structured things to go through before we get to your questions and then our final thoughts ahead of game week 6. Dom, do you want to lead off with some information you brought to us just before we went live?
Big news coming out of Arsenal. Noni Madueke done for 2 months. MCL injury. So where does that leave us on the Saka / Eze? Because I think we're going to be seeing a lot of what Damo's doing, the free hit into the wild card.
You go, Damo.
Look, I saw the news and I've been looking at Fantasy Football Hub way too long for today. Look, I saw the news and I straight away went, Eze's less than 10 mil. How do I get Eze in the team? And it's just so hard to find the extra 0.8 mil from the structure I already had with Bruno. I think with Madueke out, this makes Saka's numbers go straight back up in terms of minutes. I think if he was fit, Madueke and Eze obviously on the other side. I think that gives Arteta a reason to rest Saka more times than not. And I feel like Saka's been overused by Arsenal. But now with this injury, I think it just means Saka has to play quite a lot of minutes. And if Saka's playing, he'd be fantastic. And, as we all want to triple up on Arsenal, it's always been Gyökeres plus, a defender in Gabriel Saliba. And then do you have two defenders, a keeper? Now with this injury, it's like, yeah, Saka's only 9.8. How do you get him in your team? And yeah, but in saying that, you also want to see him get some minutes first as well, because he's just come back from this injury too. But I do expect his minutes to go up massively over these couple of months.
I'm worried to just jump straight on Saka. He's got a history of hamstrings. They're going to rush him back. Is there a world where Waneri goes and plays right wing for a little bit in games like Sunderland? And I think there is. With Champions League, Carabao Cup, Premier League games, I don't think his minutes are fully locked. Are there times where Leandro Trossard's going to go over to the right wing as well? Arsenal attack is starting to become volatile like City and Liverpool, personally. Like, Gyökeres played 90 this week, but other than that, the whole front three is coming off every game. Like, Marino's coming on up front. You've had Saka come on. You've had Odegaard come off. You've had Martinelli come on. You've had Eze dropped. You've had Rice not start. We got to start treating Arsenal, City, and Liverpool assets, treating them with caution. I don't think there's a locked-in front three like we've had in the past with Arsenal. That was sort of the area of the pitch that Mikel Arteta would not change too much, where now he's really starting to rotate heavily in the league. So I'm really against not having 90-minute men in my side. So I'm just going to wait and see when it comes to Arsenal and almost see if there's any more injuries personally.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
What are our thoughts here? Double Spurs defense on free hit 6, yes or no? I'm going no.
I don't hate it. And I think if it's Vicario and a defender, sure. If it's not Vicario and a defender and you're going Romero and Van der Ven, I'm not as sure. Van der Ven's no good for DC, where Romero's okay. The reason why I hesitate is I think Wolves defensively are woeful, but Wolves going forward we've seen patches where they pass the eye test. It's like, oh, there's
and they'll score.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's like as good as a clean sheet week as everyone thinks, because I just see a world where Wolves jag one, right? So I personally would go Vicario, because if you do keep a clean sheet, he's going to make some saves, and then a defender. But if you're going two defenders, don't like it.
Yeah, I agree. Good question here from Donny FPL. So welcome along, mate. Great to have you here as well. He's getting Haaland in, but for who? Watkins, Mateta, or Bowen?
Bowen.
Oh, man. Yeah. I'm thinking Bowen too.
West Ham,
mate. West Ham is so bad.
I feel sorry for Bowen that he has to play for them.
Yeah.
West Ham is just so bad. There's an interesting report coming around as well that Potter's going to get the sack in the international break too.
Yeah, they want Everton and Arsenal's fixtures to go, and then when the easier fixtures turn, then
new manager.
Yeah, look, Bowen. I think you can play Mateta against Liverpool if you have
can.
To.
You don't have. Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah, we've only kept one clean sheet.
I think we can see personally. So I don't hate it. Only thing I would say is there a world where you could go and jump off Watkins? I don't think there is before Burnley. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm looking at it.
It's one where I'm like, if they get a new manager and it's a manager that changes the system, and all of a sudden Bowen's going out wide in that creative self.
Oh, West Ham.
Yeah, then I'm like, Bowen, we know how great of an asset it is, but you can also say that about Watkins.
Bowen being a forward different as well, Damo. He's been a midfielder in the past too.
Yeah, I know.
You want to pay $8 million for a forward that's going to be a winger?
It has to be Bowen. It feels filthy because I know how good of a footballer he is. But yeah.
Yeah. Fair. Any other quick questions we've got before we move on to Dom's chip strategy? So who knows? I asked the question about if he's got Haaland. He does, but he's not sure about triple captain. I could use it, not decided yet. I've used bench boost and wildcard, very similar to me, very similar last as well. So look, we get 2 of every chip. That's why I'm happy to go now hard on, I've got the fixture in front of me. Haaland's fit and firing. I'd be very shocked if he played more than 70 minutes on Thursday in the Cup. I'd be very shocked if he plays at all.
He won't step on the field.
I don't actually think that. I don't think they've got another striker though, so that's my issue. I think.
Yeah, but who are they playing?
I don't know, someone crap, but
they'll
still.
chuck bloody Edison up there. I don't know anymore.
Nah,
They're
they'll have
playing
options up front, but
Huddersfield.
playing Huddersfield, they League One.
Away. Anyway, whoever
I think
they
they're
play,
League One.
they'll chuck Foden there or something.
Yeah, they're League One.
Yeah, they'll chuck.
Yeah, they got to make something work. Haaland needs a break, surely.
He won't even travel.
Yeah, I think he'll get rested.
All right.
It's into Champions League the week after, I believe.
I 100% would not be saving these first chips super position because we've got 2 this year. So you might be waiting a long time unless you're wanting to use them in the one game week that Crystal Palace are going to have a potential double like in game week 17 or something. But there is 2 chips this year. So one for the first half of the year and one for the second half of the year.
Yeah.
So definitely do not get caught out using your free hit and your triple captain because you will get another rotation after game week. What is it? 18, 19, 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you? I just want to. I want an answer of this. Why would you not use them at all? You've got them there. Like, why would you not just get more points off your bench? I don't understand that. But anyway. All right, Dom, do you want to talk us through your early thoughts on your chip strategy? Because you kind of alluded that you've got something active, but you didn't go into details about what it looked like.
Activated it yet, but I'm leaning now. You kind of talked me out of it. I think I could ride my team another week, bank a transfer, and then do it because I've got quite good matchups this week, and I'm liking the idea of a Haaland triple captain. I actually have phenomenal matchups this week. Just looking at my team. So,
do you want to share your screen so we can see it?
Yeah, happy to.
Let's have a look, Dom.
Because
I feel like anyone that's got Haaland already with a team that's half decent, I just think if you're just going to captain Haaland, you don't gain anything. So it's almost like
so there's me.
If you're going to do it, you just got to roll hard with it. Yeah, I can't see it.
So there's me. Is it up?
Zoom in as much, Dom.
I don't know if you can. Oh, there you go. That's better.
Keep going. Yep. Maybe one more. That's nice. Yeah,
okay,
perfect.
So what are we thinking?
Sanchez against Brighton. I don't know if he starts or not, but whatever.
Dubravka will at least come on for a 1-pointer, 2-pointer.
Serves his ban midweek.
Yeah, but it's more does Jorgensen start, even though he was shocking anyway.
Jorgensen sucks. So
I know he does.
Worst case, Dubravka comes in and he might get a save bonus, get a point or 2.
Yeah, just cop it and run.
Cop it. Porro at home to Wolves, surely keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, maybe. Look, out of all the fixtures for Porro, this is a good attacking fixture for him, but he hasn't been his attack himself. But
anyway, Anderson against Watkins. Don't love pipping my attackers against my defenders, but at least we know
DC.
He's locking in 4 points. And
Villa aren't scoring more than 2.
Yeah, Villa,
or none at all. Nico Williams, Sunderland home, great fixture. Reinders, I think he'll get rested in the cup midweek. And there's a start against Burnley. Semenyo, don't even need to talk about him. What a guy. Gakpo, same, rested midweek, starts again. Dewsbury Hall, I really like Everton this year. I just really like how they're going about it. And then obviously Haaland with the triple captain. This first half of the year, I think this is the best triple captain we're going to see.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a couple. Burnley, I think he plays Leeds at home at some point, but I'd expect Leeds to sit in as well. And I think Salah only played Burnley, and I don't think we play any of the promoted sides anytime soon now for this half of the season. Whether we play a Wolves or a West Ham or something like that, I don't know. But I think when you've got it like that on a plate, I think he's got to take it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Look, he scores a goal, I think.
You'd hope so.
I think, and he's just been a bonus point machine. Like I think he got the 3
Yeah.
again, scoring
got
just the 1
3.
goal. Yep, he's yeah. I think this is the play, and
Because
like
he doesn't miss the
yeah,
target.
yeah, and like you alluded to, Paul, everyone's bringing him in, combat that and triple captain him.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
If
And
I
then
had
Watkins,
Haaland and
Yep.
didn't have the free hit to get him in, I think this is the best triple captain week on paper up until we get the chip again. So yeah, I agree.
It's the one. Like you said, we get 2, you bust on 1, you go again. And then Ollie Watkins, just give him another go. What best case he scores, worst case they don't score at all, and we get the Anderson clean sheet, and then Pedro at home, Brighton leaking goals, should be on the score sheet. He's the main man. But then I think I've talked myself out of the wild card and into the triple captain.
Nice.
So yeah, if you're
can I just get yours?
Chat,
yeah, I was going to say, can I get your guys' thoughts just on my dilemma before? I've got a couple questions in the chat I want to get to as well. So that's my side when my computer wants to
load it up.
On you. Add that to stage. All right, we're on. So I've got 2 options. I've got 2 transfers this week in order to start getting my team ready for next week. Is pretty much the thought process.
Yep.
So let me go pick team, right? So my thoughts this week are I need Raya before he goes up, which is tonight. So Raya goes up tomorrow morning our time, tonight, whatever it is, late in the UK time. So Sanchez and one other have to go this week because I don't have the money in the bank to go Sanchez straight to Raya. Okay. My 2 options are Daniel Munoz downgrade to someone that plays on my bench. And to be fair, if I own Munoz, that's how my team lines up. Munoz against Liverpool, who I actually think could do something. Yeah, I don't know. It's Anderson's going to get there. He's going to get DC. I just think Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park, Munoz wouldn't surprise me if he gets an attacking return and potentially DEFCON with how much we attack. He hasn't been great for DEFCON this year, has Daniel Munoz. And why is his profile not coming up?
Palace have been so impressive from the Carabao
He's only
Cup.
hit it once.
From the
and
Community Shield,
Yeah, so Munoz hit it once, but to be fair, he got 8 against Chelsea, who's a team that came on to Palace. He got 5 against Forest, which was a weird game. Then he got 8 against Villa again, where Palace sat there. So in games where Palace aren't the team, like when Palace are the team that it should win the game, he's not going to get DC because he's bombing forward. His job's not to come back and sit him. I think there's a world when Munoz gets an attacking return and DC this week by sitting in and then bombing forward on the break in space. And Mateta and Pino haven't been the most clinical. So if something goes his way, then don't be surprised if Munoz does well. So that's the thought process where when I look at his assist numbers, 0.32, 0.48, 0.22, 0.12, and he's walked away with 1 assist and he has underperformed the data. So anyway, so option 1 is Sanchez and Watkins to João Pedro and Raya. Option 2 is Sanchez and Munoz to Raya and Richards. The reason I don't love option 2 is because next week I'm actually tempted just to go Munoz straight to Gabriel. So the plan is...
Yeah, Gabriel's copping the price rise tonight. You just have to ride that.
That's fine. No, that's fine. I can afford the team next week. Yeah, so I can afford the team next week as long as Gabriel doesn't double price rise. So if I go... I'll show you. So if I go Sanchez and Watkins to João Pedro. Now, what are your thoughts of João Pedro versus Mateta? Because that changes things as well.
I think you have to go João Pedro because of ownership.
My thing is because Palmer's picked up the knock again.
Pedro's the guy.
And I just think he's going to be so much better without. All right, so I've got 0.7 in the bank, which leaves me 6.2. Gabriel's going up to 6.2 tonight as well, or tomorrow. So as long as Gabriel won't double price rise this week, so I'll have to make that move early next week. So that's the early thought process. I think from a structure, it gets me a decent enough fixture for Munoz this week. It gets me João Pedro in for Brighton. Liverpool's not fantastic, but then Forest. It gets me Raya and Gabriel, my double Arsenal from 7.
Yeah,
I like the best way forward.
I think so. I think that's your best move forward. I hate making an early transfer. Dom has found out why that is, and it still worked out for him in the end because the team did well with no bench. But yeah, I hate it. But I think it's the best way forward for you to have that structure because I think that structure is up there with the best structure you can have moving forward.
Just means I don't have a Palace defender, but the thought process there is if Dan Burns' fixtures go bad, I can go Burn down to Richards and then turn Elliott into whatever mid-price midfielder I want. So that's the long-term plan. Anyway, Medic Ant, sorry for making you wait. Great stream. Thank you very much. Best combo, Dewsbury, Hall and Kudus or Ndiaye and Stack. I am 100% going Ndiaye and Stack there, I think.
Ooh. Give me Dewsbury, Hall and Kudus.
Deciding vote. I love a deciding vote. Yeah.
I want goals, not assists. That's the difference. The first two are all assists. Yeah.
Yeah. Ndiaye and Stack.
Yeah. The other two give you goals, and Jai's giving you DC and goals. Stack's giving you
DC
attacking
and goals.
threat and DC, where Dewsbury Hall's not giving you DC and limited assist threat, and Kudus is purely giving you assist. He's got no goal threat whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that is where I'm going there. Before game week 19, holy moly. Haaland triple captain could be used. Burnley home, Sunderland home, Leeds home, West Ham home. I'm just going Burnley home because he could get injured in 2 weeks' time, and then you lose the opportunity. So I'm just taking it now. He's got the early fixture user. He's in form. He's scoring for fun. Yeah, I just think you just rip it. Damo, you can talk to this one because Chris Wood made an appearance in your...
He's in my draft. He's in my draft K7. You may not have been here for the free hit 6 draft, and if Paul brings that in very quickly, the changes that you guys have recommended have already been put in place. So Foden's come in, Pickford's in goal, and no more Watkins. So there you go. That's been done. But yes, question was about Wood. I think for a 1 game week punt under Ange Ball, he will start, he will play, and I think that Forest are going to score 3+ goals against Sunderland. I know they've looked good defensively, Sunderland, but Ange Ball's going to go at them from the throat, and as long as they're clinical, they'll score 3+ goals. Prediction over. And yes, I've really rated.
All right. Why am I selling Sanchez for Raya now, though, when Raya's Newcastle away and I'm going to free hit next game week? I'm definitely not free hitting next game week. And I want Raya for the long term, and I won't be able to afford him if I don't make the move tonight. So I'm playing the long game, and I want Raya, and I'll just cop the Newcastle game. And Newcastle have barely scored other than against Liverpool. So if I can get a clean sheet from him, fantastic. If not, I'll wear it for 1 week, and then I'll be fine. I like this one. Mateta has robbed Munoz of so many assists. Yes, he has. Yeah. Mateta has absolutely robbed us of assists, and that's why Damo's hands are in his head's in his hands because he owns both of them.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Man.
I just saw your comment underneath.
This has been beautiful thing about Fantasy Premier League. It is a great game. It is superb. We love it. It gives you so much joy, but boy, can it break your heart. And having watched Mateta, who is naturally a goal scorer and is very good, miss every header tap in from a Munoz ball, been frustrating. There is a world, an alternative world, where Mateta is the highest scoring forward and Munoz is the highest scoring defender, and I look like a genius. But instead, I sit here with a 400K rank drop this week. So yeah.
Now, Damo, before you answer this question, we have just hit 18 likes on our 3rd stream in a row. Now, we've still got 5 minutes or so before we jump off the stream tonight. Can we get that up to 20, which would be fantastic? We've just hit 120 subscribers. Can we push that up to about 122? So 2 more likes, 2 more subs. There's still 16 of us live. Let's help us out here, guys, because we absolutely love being here with you guys. Damo, answer that question for me. Is Mateta or a sell?
Mateta. He's got Liverpool this week, Everton, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Brentford, Brighton, Wolves. That is his next 6. I believe
it's not easy.
It's good for an attacker. Liverpool, we can't keep a clean sheet. Everton's a difficult game. Bournemouth, they'll score. Arsenal, difficult game. Brentford, they should score.
I wouldn't say Bournemouth is easy.
Brighton, they should score multiple. Wolves, they should score multiple. I think for the long term, this is definitely one you can keep. Now, however, I will say if you do not have Yorkeres, you don't have Haaland, you don't have Pedro, you don't have two of those three, Mateta's the third one, you probably can look to move him on for a different option. But I think as a long-term hold, I love him.
Yeah, hold.
Great, keep him. But
yeah, I'd be holding him too. 100% holding him. All right, Damo, talk us through this one as well. If wildcard's not being used yet, I think it's team dependent. If your team's like is in a good position and you don't need to rip it, I think hold it off for next week. Because I don't really love game week 6 wildcard, if I'm honest. I much prefer game week 7. What are our thoughts on that?
So yet again, I'll share it again because it answers the question. That's the game week 7 wildcard draft that we have put out for tonight's stream. I think 7's a great week because it allows you to get the Arsenal fixtures. I also think if you can roll and you've already got a couple Arsenal assets, couple City assets. I was on a game week 13 wildcard. And if you can easily get Salah and another move to Salah down and then Haaland into the team this week and save the wild card and you have a couple Arsenal assets or you got four, 5 transfers, I really think game week 13 is the next best because you can wait until City and Liverpool played each other. Then you can get Liverpool and City assets in for Liverpool's really good fixture run. And then you can ship Salah off in game week 15 when he goes to Cup of Nations and we get the 5 free transfers. So I really think if I had to say what week it is, depending on your structure, I actually think game week 13 is the best, followed by game week 7. But if you do not have Haaland and you don't have Arsenal assets, I would say game week 7, you must wildcard.
Yeah, I agree. 100% agree. Good question here. Thank you to everybody that's been liking and subscribing. You guys have been pushing that in the chat as well, which is absolutely fantastic. A little follow-up there is that Manon has Gakpo as well. I think he's a keep at this stage. I don't think it's desperate time to get rid of. Palace isn't an ideal fixture, but I think he'll be okay.
Can I ask you, I think it was Michael Owen, someone was saying that Slot's come out and said, and basically Isaac and Ekatike, they're both strikers, and he purely sees them both as 9s. What do we think of that? If that's the case, then Gakpo's literally the only left winger.
Yep.
I would agree.
Rio.
So the natural left wingers is Gakpo and Rio. And Rio obviously is probably not ready to start.
15, 16.
Yeah, he's a baller. Just turned 17. I love the kid and think he's going to be fantastic. Won't be starting for us. I will say this, and this is just me putting FPL hat off, Liverpool hat on. I do believe that in our system, the way we play football, I believe Wirtz will be better used as a left winger than he would be as a 10. He plays out there for Germany, the way we build up. Instead of him being
came on there at the weekend as well.
Yeah, instead of him being congested in the middle of the park, which really relies on him having Isak alongside him to really do these little fancy flicks and stuff, gets him driving inside, cutting inside against a fullback that probably doesn't like to come into that space, and it allows for the left back, who is Kirk is or Robbo, to really go, and allows for him to get that creativity that way. Now, I'm not saying that means keep Wirtz. I'm not saying that means sell Gakpo. I don't think that's going to happen in the near future. Honestly, think if Liverpool want to play their best football, it is 4-4-2 with Ekatike and Isak together, but I know Slot doesn't want to do that because he likes to defensively be in a 4-3-3 when we lose the ball. So, that's my 2 cents. So keep Gakpo for now is the answer to that.
It also gets Zobbers line the 10, and he looked bloody incredible. I think he's
he can go play right back for me any day if he wants. He's fantastic.
Perfect. So, Damo, you're free hitting this week. I'm triple captaining, and so is Dom. So there's not really a whole lot else we're doing. I will be making 2 transfers tonight, and I think it's going to be Watkins and Sanchez to João Pedro and Raya. So I'm locking those in probably tomorrow morning because I've got till, 10 o'clock or so to make those moves in the morning. So hopefully there's no injury news. I'm praying, but I have to do it. Like, I can't make these moves if I don't do it now. So it's one of those ones where I hate making early transfers, but in order to get the team I want, I've got to take a risk. And surely these guys are getting rested in the cup. The numbers are dropping. Can one of you on the way out hit a like on the stream? Get us up to 20 likes. And we're there. We're up to 20 likes. So somebody was kind enough on their way out to hit us to 20 likes as well. And Cow's getting in. Bench Sanchez for Dubravka this week. I'm Jose Mourinho. That's exactly what I was doing.
That's it, mate.
Boost. So I was on that train as well, but then decided to bench boost.
Same
Thank you to
stuff.
everybody that's liked, subscribed on the stream as well. We've just hit a full hour. I have done a bit more of a data deep dive review on the channel that is live at the moment, which has actually started okay for once, which is nice for a longer video. So if you want a little bit more analytical dive with some of those graphics that I went through earlier, you'll see that on the channel as the weekend debrief. Damo and I will be getting bits and pieces going for the week, as will Dom over on Twitter. So make sure you're across Chasing Rank, across all the socials, TikTok, Instagram, X, and YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday for a Game Week 7 live stream.